Hi and welcome. This is Ancient Wisdom for a Modern World, and I am your host, Jim Phillips. It is through the application of ancient wisdom in our modern world that we can gain a greater understanding and experience of the truth of who we are. And never has there been a time in the history of humanity when there's a greater need to understand this truth. And it is this truth that will set us free. I invite you to subscribe to this podcast by going to sacredstoriesmedia.com. And you can get additional information about me and my projects at my personal website, www.prosperitybydesign.com. And it's also at my website that you can leave comments and suggestions for future podcasts. Today's episode is going to be on awareness. And as simple as that might sound, it truly is the key to how we experience life, and really how we experience ourselves within the context of life. I want to begin this podcast with a quote, and I think it will really help us better understand the whole idea of awareness. And then as I go into the balance of this podcast, you'll see that there's a lot of different components and aspects to awareness that I want to bring to your attention, or as I could say, bring to your awareness. But here's the quote. Awareness awakens us to who we are, always have been, and always will be, yet have forgotten. Awareness reveals to us blind spots within our seeing that prevent the grandest experience and expression of ourself possible in every moment. Awareness is about being open and available to all that is happening around us, and recognizing that whether we are consciously aware, and that's the key to this, it's conscious awareness. Whether we are consciously aware of things that are available to us doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means for whatever reason we haven't placed our attention and intention upon those things. Awareness is interesting in that it's not something that we have to do, but in essence, awareness is not about doing something. It's about allowing. It's about getting out of our own way. It's about letting go of all of those things that are distractions. All of those things that are keeping us from being in the present moment. Again, the only time that exists. Yesterday doesn't exist. Tomorrow doesn't exist. The only time that exists is this moment right now as you hear my voice coming through this podcast. But as I said, awareness is being present. It's allowing life to truly unfold naturally, perfectly, while we consciously observe all that's unfolding, and we do so without judgment. Again, that's another key to this. It's about seeing and recognizing and accepting all that's happening around us without judging it. It just is. This is what's going on. Now, our experience of it is our choice. How we choose to allow something to impact us, to affect us, is our choice. I can't tell you how it feels to be aware. I just know when I'm aware. I know when I'm in that present moment, when I'm allowing everything around me to become apparent to me. Awareness is also dependent upon what is being perceived and how it's being perceived. And even when we perceive something, it's still going to come through the filters that we have. And the filters that we have are our thoughts and beliefs. What do I hold as true to this moment? What do you hold as true to this moment? Because your awareness is going to be dependent upon that. If you don't believe something is possible, then you're not going to be available to those things that would allow whatever it is that you're saying is not possible for you to be presented to you. Again, it doesn't mean they're not there. It just means that you haven't placed your awareness on it. There's an exercise I use in some of my presentations and in some of my coaching to help people gain a greater understanding of awareness. And that really is right now what I'd like you to do is I want you to place your awareness on the small toe of your right foot. Can you feel it now? Can you sense that it is there? Of course you can. Now, unless you don't have a small toe on your right foot, but I'm assuming that most listeners to this do. But here's the question. Prior to my suggesting that you place your awareness on the small toe on your right foot, was your small toe on your right foot there? Of course it was. However, we just weren't aware of it. And that's the point. Just because we're not aware of something or haven't placed our awareness on it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And so that's really what awareness is that I'm talking about right now, is becoming aware of what's happening around us and within us. And out of that awareness comes the opportunity to make choices, to make empowering choices. When we practice awareness, and this is something that I encourage you to do on an ongoing basis. Now, you might just want to practice awareness for the rest of today, or maybe for the next 10 minutes after you finish listening to this, and really become consciously aware. Really pay attention to what's going on around you and within you. But I'm going to suggest that you don't just do this for a few minutes, or you don't just do this for the rest of the day or for a week or for a month. You do it for the rest of your life. Now, will you always be in awareness? No, you won't, because life is full of distractions. Life is full of things that take us out of the moment. There will be things that have happened in the past that we spend time thinking about. But here's what you can do. You can become aware of the fact that you're thinking about it. And that's being in the present moment. You can determine how you're allowing whatever it was that happened in the past to impact who you are in this moment, who you are today, and perhaps make decisions that are different from ones you might not make, or decisions that you might make that are not in alignment with who you want to be and how you want to experience life. But become aware of your thoughts. Have you ever thought about or become aware of why you believe what you believe? That, to me, is one of the most incredible opportunities that we have, is to place our awareness on our beliefs and then to question them. And it's not to cause doubt. It's not to prove someone right or wrong or prove yourself right or wrong. It's about making sure that wherever you are in life, whatever thoughts and beliefs you hold are the truth for you in this moment. And then in knowing that this is the truth for you and being aware of this as your truth in this moment, you're going to make better decisions. You're going to make decisions that allow for the experiences that you truly desire to have, instead of just stepping back and allowing life to show up and you having the thought or the feeling that, well, this is it. There's nothing I can do about it. This is just the way life is for me. This is my destiny, so to speak. I can't do anything to change it. Well, see, your destiny is actually you coming to the truth of who you are. And within that coming to that truth of who you are, you come to the truth of how powerful you are, how powerful we all are, how powerful we are as the creator of our own life experiences, how powerful we are that in any given moment we can change the life experiences that we're having because they don't reflect the life experiences we desire to have. And this is all a part of awareness, being open to, being receptive to, embracing, allowing. All of these things we want to have in life come to us. And as they show up, as they come to us, become aware of it. Make choices, conscious choices, that take us to the life experience you desire to have. I want to share a quote with you, and this really, to me, gets to the heart of what awareness is all about. It was a quote that I was given during one of my early morning walks. And these walks are a time that I've come to call being immersed in the silence of the dawn. And it actually is when I practice awareness more intentionally. Now, this isn't to imply that I don't practice awareness throughout the day, because I do. But as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be times when I'm going to be distracted. And I'm not fully aware. I'm not fully engaged in the things that are happening around me. I may be totally immersed in a situation, and that's fine. That's part of being engaged in life. But when I take these walks in the morning, it's usually around 5:30 or so. It's usually dark. It's very, very quiet. It's still. I might come across a few joggers or other people who might be out walking, but for the most part, it's just me out there. There's going to be birds and there's going to be some other animals I might come across, but again, it's silent. It's still. It's me out there connecting to nature, connecting to the universe. It's a time that I find that I am most open and receptive to whatever information might be available to me. Now, I also want to say that this information is always available to me. It's always available to you. It's just that we don't take the time to allow ourselves to experience it, to open ourselves to receive it. And then once we do receive it, more often than not, we don't accept it as being guidance given to us. It's a coincidence. It's a random thought that we have that we're just thinking of that really has no bearing on life or anything that we want to do or who we are. But I want to tell you that anytime you have these occurrences of information coming to you, of wisdom, this ancient wisdom, it's available to all of us if we allow it to be, if we are aware of the fact that it's available to us. Well, on this particular morning, I was out walking, and it was quiet. It was just me, the few birds, a few animals I might come across. I didn't have a particular question that I wanted to ask this morning. I didn't have a situation or an issue that I was trying to work through and get greater clarity on. I was just open and receptive to whatever showed up. And all of a sudden, this quote came into my consciousness. And the quote was, "Once aware, all else falls into place." Once aware, all else falls into place. Now, as it was on this morning, and it typically is this way, I think, oh, that's interesting. I don't really know what it means. I don't really know what it's for, but I pay attention to it. I become aware of it. And on this particular morning, it was becoming aware of a statement about awareness itself. Once aware, all else falls into place. So I started thinking about, what does that really mean to me? What does it mean that once aware, all falls into place? So as I continued my walk, it did fall into place. I began to understand it more from a feeling perspective, not from the perspective of being able to articulate it, but really just from an understanding perspective, a knowing, if you will. And I realized that I can't do anything without being aware of it. I can't change anything is probably a better way to state it. I can't change anything if I'm not aware of what exists. I can't change it if I'm not aware of a better set of circumstances that I desire. Clarity on what it is I desire to experience other than what I'm already experiencing. I can't avail myself of opportunities that are around me that might support me in creating the life experiences I want if I'm not aware of them. And the interesting thing about awareness is that once you become aware, once you acknowledge, once you engage in awareness, more and more shows up. Now, it doesn't mean that it shows up because you become aware. It's always been there. But it's available to you. You're available to it because you are aware of the fact that it exists. And as we become aware of these things that exist, especially those things that are around us that create the opportunity for us to have the experiences that we desire to have, once we become aware of them, the awareness expands. We see even more of what's available to us. We see even more potential in life. We see even more of what it is that we desire to experience in everything and anything that we want to create and that we want to have as our life experience. Now, I also want to say that the experience of life isn't the things that happen around us. It's not things that happen to us. It's all about our experience of ourselves, the grander expression of who we are, the grander understanding of who we are and what we're capable of doing. And within that, the understanding of why we're here. What is the purpose of life? Who am I? What am I here to do? And how can I do it? Am I here to serve? And if so, how am I here to serve? Once we start asking those questions, we also become aware of the answers to them. Again, through that awareness, we see these things that are around us, these opportunities, this information, these people will show up. The circumstances are perfect for our fullest expression in every given moment. When we talk about creating the life that we desire, creating the experiences that we truly desire to have in life, we're talking about creating with intention. This is what I intend. This is what I most desire to have as my experience of life and as my experience of myself. And awareness is essential for that. Out of awareness also comes this understanding of having become too comfortable in our discomfort. And that's a phrase I use that I've been questioned on quite a few times. What does it mean that I become too comfortable in my discomfort? What do you mean by that? That really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Here's what I would suggest. That most of us are living these lives of, as it has been said before, quiet discontent. We kind of sort of have this feeling that there's more to life than what we're experiencing. We know that life isn't as grand as it could be. We've accepted that this is life the way it's going to be, that this is God's will, that there's nothing I can do to change it. And so even though we are uncomfortable, it doesn't mean life is good or bad. This is not about judgment. It doesn't mean that somehow, some way, life is against us or that we're the victim of life. It just means we're accepting life as it is without engaging in life, without taking the steps that are available to us to change life so that we have the experience we truly desire to have. So becoming too comfortable or discomfort just means that we've accepted this is the way my life is. I know it could be better. I know that perhaps there's more to life than what I'm experiencing. But I'm allowing myself to stay in this discomfort. I'm comfortable in the discomfort. It hasn't become so uncomfortable that I'm willing to make the necessary changes to move beyond this discomfort. It hasn't become so uncomfortable that I'm willing to risk my discomfort for the opportunity to step into what I call our magnificence, to move beyond this life of quiet discontent into a life of more creativity, more abundance, more prosperity, more enjoyment, more love. I described a few moments ago my experience of being immersed in the silence of the dawn. And what I don't want you to come away with, you have to set aside specific time during the day, and that's the only time that you practice awareness. Awareness is an ongoing exercise. Although I will suggest that you set aside some time during the day to really practice it as awareness in and of itself, not within the context of the day, not within the course of different events that are taking place during the day, although that's obviously what you want to do ultimately. But it's about really just learning how to engage in awareness, how to participate in it. So set aside 10, 15 minutes a day. The morning time for me during the walks is the best time for me. That's when I'm more open and receptive and willing to practice awareness. But only you can determine when that time is right for you. So find some time during the day, 5, 10, 15 minutes, it doesn't matter, and just become aware. Play with it. Don't judge anything. Play with it. Isn't that interesting? Wow, I didn't realize that was there. I didn't realize that this was available to me. I didn't realize that this potential existed. And then as you go through the course of the day, you're going to find that you will start practicing awareness because of you becoming aware of certain situations, certain opportunities, certain events that take place, certain interactions with other people. As you practice your awareness, become aware of your thoughts. We all know that we have this series of thoughts that consistently runs through our head. It's a loop. It's a thought loop that all too often suggests that we can't do something. We're not worthy of something. We're not deserving of something. We're not capable of something. It's not available to us. It's available to other people. Whatever the thoughts may be. And the unfortunate part is, more often than not, they're very disempowering. They prevent us from stepping into our magnificence, from truly living from the truth of who we are, from understanding who we are, from being aware of who we are, and living from that awareness, living from that truth. So pay attention to your thoughts. Question your thoughts. Because from our thoughts come our beliefs. And then question your beliefs. Why do I believe this? Is what I believe about me, myself, true? Where did it come from? Again, this is not about creating doubt. This is not about creating someone else being right or wrong, you being right or wrong. This is about gaining clarity. Why do I believe this about myself? Become aware of that. And become aware of your feelings as you have certain experiences. What are your feelings? Become aware of it. When you are engaged in something and you know it to be the truth, not that you just think it's true, but you know it to be the truth, what's that feeling for you? And the reason that I suggest that you pay attention to this, you become aware of this, is because whenever that feeling shows up, you know you'll be operating in and from the truth. And that's how you can make the best decisions. Conversely, understand, become aware of how you feel when you know that you're not living from your truth, when you know that something's not right, when you know that there's a better decision, a better opportunity available. How does that feel? Because whenever you're about to make a choice and that feeling comes up, you know that's not the right choice for you to make at that particular point in time. You want to go to the other feeling, the feeling of truth. The feeling of knowing that this is the right decision for you. This is the appropriate decision for you. This is the best decision for you under these circumstances in this particular moment. And be aware of how your thoughts and your feelings correlate to what's happening in your outer world. If you're experiencing chaos and turmoil inside, and you see that outside of you being the experiences that you're personally having, but also what you're seeing in and around the world, your perception of the world, your perception of other people, your perception of society. Is your chaos and your turmoil being presented to you in the outside world? Or are you calm? Are you peaceful? Do you have that inner peace? Do you have that sense of contentment? Do you have that sense of calm and peace and enjoyment that I think all of us want? And if you do, how's that being reflected to you in the outer world? Now keep in mind, just because we have this sense of calm within us, this sense of peace, doesn't mean that terrible things are not going to happen out in the world. They will. We can't control all the events of the world. We can't control other people. But we can contribute to the evolvement towards peace in the world, towards enjoyment, towards love in the world with other people by our experiencing and expressing that out into the world. But it's just during these events, when you see something horrific happen, or when you are part of something, that inner peace and that inner calm is going to allow you to move through this experience much more readily. You're going to do so without judgment. You're going to maintain your calm. You're going to make better decisions within the experience of whatever the turmoil might be, the chaos, whatever the event might be. Be aware of your resistance to life. And what does that mean? I believe that life presents to us absolutely everything we need for the fullest experience and expression of ourselves. Absolutely everything. I believe that every event that shows up in our life presents the perfect circumstances for us to experience ourselves in a certain way. And I believe that every experience that we have is for our benefit. Even though those experiences may appear to be difficult, to be challenging, to be set up to hold us back, which they're not. Nothing is set up in life to hold us back. We're presented those challenging opportunities to allow us to experience the truth of who we are, to experience how powerful we truly are, to step into our magnificence and allow that to be our experience of life, our experience of ourself. And in so doing, we serve as an example to everybody else. As we give ourselves permission to step into our magnificence, we're giving everyone else the same permission to do so. We're saying it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to exercise your power. It's okay to experience magnificence, your magnificence. Be aware of those moments when you're not aware. Pull yourself out of those times of distraction. Don't let yourself be drawn into other people's drama, into the drama of life that actually has nothing to do with you. Yes, you can observe it. You can acknowledge it. Don't be drawn into it. Don't let it take you away from the truth of who you are. Don't let it take you out of your calm, out of your peace. Be aware of when you're aware. Be aware when you're not aware. Be aware of your judgment. Where am I being judgmental? Where am I being judgmental about other people? Where am I being judgmental about myself? And in fact, if I'm being judgmental about other people, what is that saying about me? Because what I've come to understand is that anytime I'm judging somebody else, it's not about them, it's about me. Somewhere, somehow, I'm judging myself. I'm saying I'm better than somebody else. I'm saying that I'm not as good as somebody else. I'm saying that I don't have what they have. I don't have the skills. I'm not as deserving as somebody else. These are all judgments about me. When in fact, when we observe somebody else, it should be just that, an observation. But it should also be an honoring and a respecting of each person that we observe for who they are, for the life path that they've chosen, for the experiences that they're going through, just as we would hope they would honor and respect us, for the choices we're making, for the life we're leading, for who we are, who we're becoming, who we desire to be. I want to leave you with it's another one of those phrases, I guess we could say, that I've been given during a moment of contemplation. It is something that I believe that if you allow it to sink in, that you will gain some greater understanding of awareness, that you will gain a greater understanding of who you are, what's available to us, perhaps what life is all about. Awareness allows love, peace, joy, and happiness to be experienced and expressed. Awareness is consciousness. We are consciousness. Awareness allows for the grandest experience and expression of self. We are at first aware, then awareness itself. I want to thank you again for your time today. I know that you have many other opportunities into which you could place your time, your attention, and yet you've chosen to spend this time with me. I greatly appreciate it. I look forward to continuing our conversations. I look forward to sharing more ancient wisdom that we can bring into this modern world that will not only change our personal lives, but will change the world as we know it, to make it a more peaceful, more loving, more joy-filled, more beautiful experience for all of us. Until next time, I'm Jim Phillips, and you've been listening to Ancient Wisdom for the Modern World.